Hello and welcome. I'm very happy you are here today. This video is made for people who want to learn English. It is easy to follow and good for practice. Today, you will listen to a simple and powerful story. It is about a boy who lives in a small village. He works hard, faces many problems, and never gives up. This story can help you learn English and also learn about life. As you listen, follow the words on the screen. You can hear the right pronunciation and see how sentences are made. If you don't know a word, pause and listen again. This is a great way to practice reading and listening. You can learn step by step and grow more confident every day. Thank you for choosing Easy English Official. Let's begin this story together and enjoy learning English. Today, let's talk about your North Star, your dream, your goal, your reason to wake up every morning. Life is full of choices, and you can't do everything. But you can choose what truly matters. Every yes you give is a no to something else. Let's discover how to find your true path and follow it with courage. Chapter 1. The Power of Choice. Every choice we make writes a small part of our story. Some choices feel small, but they quietly shape the life we live tomorrow. Most people never notice how powerful a simple yes or no can be until years later. That is why learning to choose with awareness is one of the greatest skills in life. We live in a world filled with noise, opinions, and expectations. Everyone tells us what to do, where to go, and who to be. But the truth is, no one can walk your path for you. Only you can decide what feels right for your heart. Sometimes we say yes just to make others happy. We agree to things that don't match our dreams just because we are afraid of rejection. But every time you say yes to something meaningless, you are silently saying no to something that matters. Your time is the most expensive currency you will ever spend. Once you spend it, you can never get it back. That's why every yes must be worth your limited time. Choose with care, because your attention shapes your destiny. If you say yes to comfort, you are saying no to growth. Growth is never easy, but it is the only road that leads to your true self. When you stay where it's safe, you stay where nothing new can grow. So ask yourself, which life do you really want, safe or meaningful? There is beauty in saying no. No is not always rejection. Sometimes it is protection. Saying no to what's wrong gives you space to say yes to what's right. It is how you build a life that truly belongs to you. Many people think they can have everything at once, but everything costs something. You cannot go east and west at the same time. Sooner or later, you must choose which direction holds your happiness. When you stop trying to do everything, you finally discover what really matters. Life becomes lighter, clearer, and more peaceful. You start to focus on what fills your heart instead of what fills your schedule. That is where joy begins. The power of choice is not about control, it is about awareness. It is the quiet understanding that you always have a say in how your story unfolds. Even when things fall apart, you still have the power to choose your response. You can choose peace over panic, gratitude over anger, and courage over fear. That choice may seem small, but it is how strong people are built. Every good life starts with small, quiet decisions that no one else can see. We all want progress, but we fear change. Progress means leaving something behind. To move forward, you must first say goodbye to what holds you still. It hurts, but pain is proof that growth is happening. Some people will not understand your choices. and that is okay. They don't have to walk in your shoes or feel your dreams. You don't owe anyone an explanation for following your own truth. Your path belongs only to you. Choosing the right path is not always about knowing everything. It's about trusting your inner compass, even when the road ahead is foggy. Every small step forward in faith builds confidence for the next. When you begin to choose with intention, life starts to open new doors. You attract opportunities that match your courage. The universe meets you halfway when you finally move in the direction of your purpose. Every time you say no to distraction, you say yes to discipline. Every time you say no to fear, you say yes to freedom. Every time you say no to doubt, you say yes to self-trust. The world begins to mirror the energy of your decisions. Do not let temporary feelings make permanent choices. The moments of anger, sadness, or confusion will pass. Take a breath, take your time, and remember, clarity always returns when the heart is calm. The biggest mistake we make is thinking we have endless tomorrows. We plan, delay, and wait for the right time. But the right time is rarely tomorrow. It is usually now. Each day you wait is one less day to live your dream. Your choices create the direction of your life, just like a compass guides a traveler. Even a 1-degree change can lead to a new horizon over time. Don't underestimate the small, quiet choices you make each morning. When you say yes to learning, you say yes to becoming. When you say yes to forgiveness, you say yes to peace. When you say yes to trying again, you say yes to hope. The language of your life is written in yes and no. Every great story begins with a decision to begin. You don't need to have all the answers before you start. Just take one honest step toward what feels right. The rest will unfold as you walk. People often wait for confidence before they act, but action creates confidence. Every brave decision plants a seed of belief inside you. With time, that belief grows roots stronger than fear. That is how courage is born. Your mind will try to protect you by keeping you small. It will whisper reasons to stay where you are. But your heart knows better. It wants you to explore, to try, to grow. Listen to it, even when it scares you. You are the author of your own story. Every page you write is made of choices. Choose words of love, acts of courage, and thoughts of hope. The story will be beautiful because it will be yours. And remember, you will make mistakes. Everyone does. But even the wrong choices teach the right lessons. Life is not about never falling. It's about learning which direction to rise again. At the end of the day, your choices are your freedom. No one can take that from you. You are free to start over, free to say yes, free to say no, free to begin again. That is the true power of choice. Chapter 2. Simplicity is power. Life becomes heavy when we carry too much. We fill our days with noise, goals, and endless to-do lists. But sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stop and breathe. Simplicity is not about having less. It is about making room for what truly matters. When everything feels complicated, clarity hides behind the chaos. We chase so many things at once that we forget why we started. But when you quiet the noise, the truth becomes easy to hear. The heart always whispers what the mind tries to complicate. There was a time when I thought success meant doing everything. Study more, work more, fill every hour. But the more I added, the more lost I became. It was not effort I needed. It was focus. Eddie Pinero once shared a story from his college life. He was working multiple jobs, studying hard, and chasing approval from everyone. But one night, He sat alone and asked himself, "Why am I doing all this?" That question changed everything. He realized he was chasing what looked successful, not what felt meaningful. He was trying to please the world and forgot to listen to his own voice. So, he began removing what didn't serve him. And as things became simpler, life became clearer. Simplicity is the art of letting go. Letting go of what drains your energy, your peace, and your time. When you clear the unnecessary, the essential finally has space to grow. Like a garden, your life needs room for sunlight. We live in a world that celebrates more. More followers, more money, more goals. But no one tells you that more can also mean more pressure, more stress, more noise. True peace comes when you learn to say, enough. The most successful people are not those who do everything. They are those who know what not to do. They choose their focus carefully. They protect their energy like a treasure. Because focus is power, and power needs direction. When you simplify your life, you create space for creativity. Your mind stops spinning and starts imagining. You begin to notice small moments, the sound of rain, a kind smile, the peace in silence. Simplicity connects you to life again. Many people think simplicity is boring, but simplicity is not emptiness. It is clarity. It removes confusion and replaces it with purpose. It's not about having less, it's about having enough. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack full of useless things. Every day you walk slower and feel weaker. Then one day, you decide to open it and remove what you don't need. Suddenly, you walk lighter, faster, freer. That's what simplicity feels like. You don't need to impress everyone to live a good life. You just need to be true to yourself. The more you try to be everything, the less you become anything. Choose depth over width, quality over quantity. The path to peace is not found in more effort. It's found in more understanding. Simplicity brings you back to balance. It teaches you to work smarter, not harder, to live deeper, not faster. Eddie's story reminds us that purpose comes after clarity, not before. He didn't find his dream by adding more. He found it by subtracting what didn't belong. Simplicity didn't make his dream smaller, it made it stronger. When you stop running, you start seeing. When you stop adding, you start creating. Life speaks softly, and you can only hear it when you slow down enough to listen. That is where meaning begins. Clarity is not something you find. It's something you allow. When you remove distractions, the truth rises naturally, like the sun through clouds. You begin to see what was always there, waiting for you to notice. Most of our stress doesn't come from life itself. It comes from trying to control everything. Simplicity teaches surrender, not giving up, but letting go of what you can't change. That's how peace enters your heart. Simplicity is confidence in disguise. When you know what truly matters, you no longer need to prove yourself. You stop chasing validation and start living with quiet certainty. That's real strength. Calm, not loud. In a simple life, every moment becomes beautiful. A walk feels like a gift. A meal feels like gratitude. You stop rushing through days and start living inside them. Time slows down when you're truly present. It takes courage to choose less in a world that praises more. But the brave ones always walk their own way. They are not afraid to say, "This is enough for me." And in that simplicity, they find power. Remove the noise, and you will find your music. Remove the clutter, and you will see your light. Remove what's not you, and you will finally meet yourself. That is the secret of simplicity. You don't need to chase everything to feel alive. You only need to care deeply about a few things that truly matter. Depth gives meaning to your time, and meaning gives peace to your heart. Life's beauty is often hidden in plain sight, in small moments we forget to see. Simplicity opens our eyes again. It reminds us that we already have enough, and that gratitude is the richest feeling of all. When you know what you really want, your path becomes clear. You stop walking in circles and start walking toward purpose. The noise fades, and your direction finally feels right. That is how clarity feels, light and alive. Simplicity is not the end of ambition, it's the beginning of alignment. When your heart and actions walk in the same direction, you no longer need to force progress. It happens naturally, one peaceful step at a time. And in the end, simplicity gives you back what you lost: time, peace, and freedom. You realize life was never supposed to be complicated. It was supposed to be clear, calm, and full of meaning. That is the quiet power of simplicity. Chapter 3. Who are you really? There comes a moment when you look in the mirror and ask, who am I really? The reflection looks familiar, but the answer feels far away. You've been so busy trying to be what others expect that you forgot to listen to your own voice. That is where the journey begins. Not outside, but within. We wear many masks every day. A smile when we're tired, confidence when we're scared, strength when we feel small. The world teaches us to hide our weakness, but hiding too long makes us forget who we are. The mask becomes heavier than the truth. The world doesn't need your mask. It needs the real you, the imperfect, beautiful, growing version. The one who laughs loudly, cries quietly, and still chooses to keep going. The one who feels deeply and still shows up with love. Everyone feels lost sometimes. Even the strongest people have moments of doubt. They just learned how to keep walking while they figure it out. You don't need to have all the answers. You only need the courage to ask honest questions. You are not a label, not a title, not someone's opinion. You are a living story, changing every day. You are allowed to rewrite your chapters whenever you need to. That is not weakness, that is growth. We are born into a world that tells us who to be before we even understand who we are. Parents, teachers, society, they all give us roles to play. But at some point you must ask, is this really me or just what I was told to be? You don't have to fit in everywhere. Not every room deserves your energy. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from what doesn't feel like home. Your peace is the proof that you're on the right path. Who you are is not found in other people's approval. It's found in the quiet moments when no one is watching. When you're honest with yourself, you'll realize you already know who you are. You just stopped trusting that voice. The journey of being yourself is not about becoming something new. It's about remembering what you forgot. You've always been enough. You just learned to doubt it. Unlearning those doubts is part of coming home to yourself. There is no perfect path. Life doesn't come with clear directions or guarantees. Some days you'll move forward, some days you'll fall, but every step, even the painful ones, is painting your canvas. You are the artist, and life is your blank canvas. Some colors will be bright, others dark, but every stroke matters. Together, they create something no one else could ever paint, your unique story. Don't be afraid of your mess. Every masterpiece starts as a mess. Every success began as a question mark. The beauty of life is not in perfection, but in the courage to keep creating. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be to learn what's next. Stop comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20. Growth takes time, and time respects patience. When you stop pretending, you start connecting. People don't fall in love with perfect, they fall in love with real. Vulnerability is not a weakness, it's the bridge that lets hearts meet. The strongest people are not those who never fall, but those who fall and rise with honesty. They don't hide their scars, they use them as proof of survival. Every scar is a story that says, I'm still here. Your value doesn't depend on what you achieve. You are worthy simply because you exist. Before you prove, perform, or produce, you already matter. You don't have to earn your own worthiness. Some people will misunderstand you, and that's okay. You're not here to be understood by everyone. You're here to live in alignment with your truth, even if only you can see it right now. Authenticity often looks lonely before it looks beautiful. When you start being yourself, not everyone will stay, but the ones who do will see you, really see you. And that kind of connection is worth more than 1,000 fake smiles. It's okay to outgrow people, dreams, and places. Growth doesn't mean disloyalty. It means becoming more of yourself. You can love where you were and still move toward where you're meant to be. The real you is not found in your comfort zone. It's waiting on the other side of fear. Every time you show up honestly, you build trust with yourself. That's how confidence grows, not from applause, but from truth. You are not broken because you change. You are evolving because you're alive. Growth means shedding layers that no longer fit. It means making space for who you're becoming. Being real doesn't mean you have all the answers. It means you show up with an open heart. You let life teach you, even when it's uncomfortable. You allow yourself to be a student of your own journey. The search for who you are never truly ends. It deepens. With each experience, you uncover another piece of your truth. The goal is not to find yourself once. It's to keep discovering yourself forever. If you ever feel lost, remember this. Not knowing is a sacred part of knowing. Confusion is a sign that transformation has already begun. Trust the process, even when it feels uncertain. And when you finally see yourself clearly, don't hide again. The world needs your light, your story, your truth. Someone out there is waiting to hear it, because your courage will remind them of their own. So, who are you, really? You are the dreamer, the survivor, the creator of your own meaning. You are enough as you are, right now. The world doesn't need your mask. It needs your heart. Chapter 4. The courage to begin. Every dream begins the same way, with fear. Not excitement, not confidence, but fear. The voice that says, "What if I fail?" is always louder than the one that whispers, "But what if you fly?" Courage is choosing which voice to listen to. You don't have to be ready. You just have to start. No one ever feels completely prepared for the things that change their life. Readiness is not a feeling. It's a decision. The moment you move, life begins to move with you. There was once a girl who loved poetry but never shared her words. She wrote in secret, filling notebook after notebook, afraid that her voice wasn't good enough. Her dreams stayed hidden, safe, but silent. Until one day, she saw a sign. Open mic night. Her hands shook as she read the poster. Her heart said yes, but her fear said no. She almost tore the paper down, but something inside her whispered, "Just try." and that small whisper was louder than all her doubts. The night of the open mic, her voice trembled as she held the paper. The lights felt too bright, and every heartbeat sounded like thunder. She wanted to run, but she stayed. She stood there, breathing through the fear. When she finally began to read, her voice cracked. The first line was shaky, the second one softer, and by the third, her rhythm found her. The audience went silent, not because she was perfect, but because she was real. When she finished, the room clapped, not for her flawless delivery, but for her courage. Tears filled her eyes, not because she was proud, but because she finally let herself begin. That moment changed her life forever. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's standing there, hands shaking, heart racing, and doing it anyway. You don't wait for the fear to disappear. You walk through it. That's how bravery is born. Fear will always travel with you, but it doesn't get to drive. It can sit in the back seat and be quiet. You decide where the road leads. Every step forward tells fear, you can stay, but you can't control me. The girl didn't become fearless after that night. She became unstoppable. She learned that courage grows only through action. Every poem she read after that felt easier, not because fear vanished, but because she learned to dance with it. Every great story you admire began with uncertainty. Every dreamer you respect once stood where you are, afraid, unsure, trembling. What separates them from the rest is not confidence, it's action. You can study, plan, and wait for the perfect moment, but it never comes. Perfection is just fear wearing a nice suit. The truth is, you'll never feel ready for something that truly matters. That's what makes it powerful. When you start, the world starts to notice. Opportunities meet motion, not hesitation. The door you've been waiting for won't open until you knock. And even if it doesn't open right away, knocking teaches you strength. Courage doesn't look like loud speeches or fearless smiles. Sometimes it looks like quiet tears, deep breaths, and tiny steps forward. Sometimes it's just showing up when your heart wants to hide. Every time you act in spite of fear, you change your brain. You teach yourself that you can survive discomfort. Confidence is not built from success, it's built from survival. And you've already survived so much. The girl from the open mic didn't become famous, but that wasn't the point. She found her own voice, and that's worth more than applause. Her courage lit a spark that no amount of fear could ever put out again. We often wait for motivation, but motivation follows movement. Once you take the first step, the next one gets easier. Energy grows when you begin, not before you begin. That's how progress works. Fear whispers lies. You're not ready. You're not enough. But courage replies, maybe not yet, but I'm going anyway. That small act of defiance creates momentum that no doubt can stop. Some people never start because they want a guarantee. But courage doesn't promise results. It promises growth. Whether you win or lose, you'll come out stronger. That's the real reward. The truth is, starting small still counts. Writing one line, making one call, trying one new thing, they all matter. Every mountain begins with one step that looked too small to matter. But it did. Courage also means forgiving yourself when you pause. You don't fail when you rest. You fail when you never try again. The brave keep going, not because it's easy, but because their heart won't let them stop. When you begin, you inspire others to do the same. Your courage becomes contagious. Someone watching you will say, if they can start scared, maybe I can too. That's how light spreads. Every first time feels terrifying. That's how you know it's worth it. The fear you feel is proof that you care. And anything worth doing will always come with a little fear attached. You will look back one day and smile at the moment you almost didn't try. You'll be grateful you chose courage over comfort, because that one small beginning can change the direction of your entire life. So, don't wait for the perfect moment. Create it. Don't wait for fear to leave. Invite it to walk beside you. You don't need to be fearless to begin. You just need to be brave enough to take the first step. And remember, the girl who once trembled on stage found her voice only when she spoke. That's the secret. Courage is not born from readiness. It's born from action. You don't have to be ready. You just have to start. Chapter 5. Learn from yesterday. Don't hate your past. Use it. Every mistake, every wrong turn, every broken moment brought you somewhere closer to understanding. The past is not there to punish you. It's there to prepare you. We often wish we could erase what hurt us. But if you look closely, the lessons you needed most were hiding inside those painful days. Growth never comes from comfort. It comes from surviving what once broke you. Your past is not a chain around your ankle. It's a map in your hands. It shows you where not to go, what not to repeat, and how strong you truly are. Every scar is proof that you've already healed once before. It's easy to look back and feel regret, to think, I should have known better. But remember, you didn't know then what you know now. You were learning, and learning always comes with mistakes. Don't be angry at your younger self. They were doing their best with what they had. If they hadn't made those choices, you wouldn't have the wisdom you carry today. Forgive the version of you that didn't know better. Regret is only poison if you drink it forever. But if you use it as medicine, it becomes wisdom. The same memory that once hurt you can one day guide someone else out of their own darkness. Mistakes are not signs of failure. They are signs of movement. They mean you tried, you risked, you cared. The only people who never make mistakes are the ones who never try. The past cannot be changed, but it can be understood. And when you understand it, it loses its power to control you. You become the teacher, not the student, of your own history. Sometimes we repeat the same patterns until the lesson finally gets loud enough to hear. It's not bad luck. It's unfinished learning. Life will keep sending the same message until you open the letter. The bad choices you made weren't the end of your story. They were the beginning of your awareness. Pain often opens the door that comfort keeps closed. Wisdom begins where pride breaks. You can't grow while you're still blaming yourself. Shame keeps you trapped in yesterday. Acceptance sets you free. The moment you say, yes, that happened, but it taught me something, your healing begins. The past doesn't define you. It refines you. Every disappointment polished your character. Every heartbreak deepened your empathy. Every loss made you appreciate presence. That's the real education. We love to celebrate success, but failure is the teacher that never lies. It tells you exactly where you need to look. It doesn't flatter you, it strengthens you. You only have to listen. There's a story in every mistake you've made. A story of courage, curiosity, or simply survival. When you change how you see it, you change how you see yourself. You're not broken, you're becoming. The truth is, your past already served its purpose. You don't live there anymore. But it still holds lessons worth keeping, like old books you read once and never forget. Keep the wisdom, not the weight. Even the moments you wish never happened taught you something important. Maybe they taught you boundaries, patience, or forgiveness. Maybe they taught you what love isn't. That knowledge is priceless. When you look back, look with gratitude, not guilt. Say, I didn't know then, but I know now. That simple sentence turns pain into power. It transforms regret into responsibility. It takes strength to face your past without judgment. It's easier to run, to hide behind distraction. But healing happens when you stop running and turn around, not to stay, but to understand. The past is not there to remind you of failure. It's there to remind you of growth. You are not the same person who made those mistakes. You have evolved, learned, and earned your peace. Even the people who hurt you were teachers. Some showed you what love looks like, and others showed you what love should never be. Both kinds helped you grow. Both were necessary. Let your past inspire your compassion, not your bitterness. When you understand your own pain, you stop judging others for theirs. Empathy is the wisdom born from wounds. You don't need to erase your past to build your future. You just need to see it differently. Every lesson you learned there is a brick for the foundation of who you're becoming. The more you forgive yourself, the more energy you free for today. Carrying guilt wastes the strength you could be using to create something new. Letting go is not forgetting. It's freeing space to live again. One day, you'll thank your past for all it taught you. You'll realize it wasn't your enemy, but your greatest teacher in disguise. What once hurt you now helps you help others. Your past isn't a prison. It's a classroom. Every moment you lived was a lesson. Every pain was a professor. Every mistake was an assignment that taught you something only experience could. And when you finally understand that, yesterday stops haunting you and starts guiding you. You walk lighter, wiser, and freer, because you no longer run from who you were. You walk beside them as who you've become. Chapter 6. Rise Again. Failure does not end your story. It only pauses it. Every setback whispers a question. Will you try again? The answer decides everything. You don't rise by avoiding the fall. You rise by standing after it. I've given myself a chance, Tiger Woods once said after years of injuries and doubt. He didn't come back because it was easy. He came back because he refused to quit. That is what courage truly looks like. There was a time when the world counted him out. His body broke down, his reputation fell apart, and people said he'd never win again. But while everyone stopped believing, he kept believing in himself. When he finally returned to the golf course, he didn't promise victory. He promised effort. Every swing was a reminder that resilience is stronger than perfection. And in 2019, when he won the Masters again, the world saw what it means to rise. Setbacks are not signs that you're done. They're invitations to begin again, wiser. Every failure carries a hidden lesson: how to be patient, how to rebuild, how to trust yourself again. Growth hides inside the things that hurt. Life will test your strength by breaking your plans. You will lose things, people, dreams. But what matters most is that you don't lose yourself. The storm doesn't destroy you. It reveals what's solid inside you. Sometimes you fall not because you're weak, but because you're being redirected. Failure closes one door only to guide you toward a better one. You just have to keep walking long enough to find it. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep showing up. Progress belongs to those who keep trying, even when it's uncomfortable. Consistency beats talent when talent gives up too soon. Every champion has fallen more times than they've won. The secret isn't luck, it's endurance. They know how to keep moving forward when no one is watching, when no one believes, when it's just them and their faith. Your setbacks are not your enemy. They are your teachers, your trainers, your invisible strength builders. Every time life pushes you down, it's building the muscle you'll need to rise higher later. You learn more from falling than from flying. Falling shows you where the ground is, where your limits are, so you can build stronger wings next time. That's how real growth begins. It's okay to feel tired. It's okay to feel like giving up. But don't stay there too long. Rest, breathe, cry if you must, then rise again. Even small steps count when your heart refuses to quit. Setbacks are not proof of failure. They're proof of effort. They show you were brave enough to try. That alone makes you stronger than fear ever could. Every time you rise, you remind the world that pain doesn't win. You rewrite the meaning of defeat. You show others that broken doesn't mean finished. It means rebuilding. We often think success is about never falling, but it's really about how many times you get back up. Resilience is not loud. It's quiet, steady, and built one choice at a time. When everything falls apart, that's when character begins to take shape. The person who rises after losing everything knows the value of every small victory. Gratitude grows stronger in the ashes. Tiger Woods didn't rise because the world gave him another chance. He rose because he gave himself one. That's the kind of power no one can take away from you. You can't control every storm, but you can control how you stand in the rain. You can't predict every failure, but you can decide to keep showing up. That's how hope stays alive. Sometimes the comeback doesn't look like success. Sometimes it's just peace, the moment you realize you're no longer broken by what once broke you. That's victory too. The world remembers the wins, but the soul remembers the fight. The nights you stayed up believing, the mornings you started again, that's what truly defines you. Every fall teaches you humility. Every rise teaches you confidence. Together, they shape wisdom. Without falling, you'd never learn how to stand tall. You are not behind because you've fallen. You are becoming stronger because you've learned to rise. Each comeback adds a new layer of strength that no comfort ever could. Don't hide your scars. They're not signs of shame. They're medals of survival. Each one says, I lived through that, and I'm still here. That's real power. Keep showing up. Keep swinging. Keep believing that your best days haven't been lived yet. The future belongs to those who keep walking even when the path feels uphill. So when life knocks you down again, remember Tiger's words, I've given myself a chance. That's all you ever need. Not perfection, not certainty, just one more chance to rise again. Chapter 7. Be yourself, protect your light. There is a light inside you that no one else can copy. It shines through your voice, your kindness, your strange little dreams. But when you spend too long trying to be like everyone else, that light starts to fade. You were never meant to be a copy. You were meant to be the original. We live in a world that loves to compare. Likes, followers, opinions, all shouting who we should be. But every time you change yourself to please them, you lose a small piece of your truth. And piece by piece, you forget what your real voice sounds like. If you want what the 5% have, do what only the 5% do. That means stop following the crowd when the crowd is lost. The rare ones don't chase attention. They chase purpose. They protect their peace like it's gold. Most people trade their authenticity for approval. They dress like others, speak like others, think like others, and wonder why they feel empty. You can't fill your soul with imitation. It only grows when it's honest. Being yourself isn't always easy. Sometimes it means standing alone. Sometimes it means being misunderstood. But every time you choose your truth over their comfort, your light grows stronger. You were not born to please everyone. You were born to make something meaningful. The people who truly love you don't need you to shrink to fit their comfort. They want you to shine, even if it's bright. It's okay if not everyone likes you. You're not meant to be everyone's favorite flavor. You're meant to be real, not perfect. The right people will see your value without you having to perform for it. Stop apologizing for being different. The things that make you weird are the things that make you wonderful. Don't dim your light to match someone else's shadow. The world needs your brightness exactly as it is. When you say yes to everyone, you say no to yourself. Protect your energy like a sacred space. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table, especially if they drain your peace. Confidence isn't loud. It's quiet peace in knowing who you are. It's saying, I like me, even when others don't. That's the kind of power no one can take away. Your light doesn't have to be perfect to be powerful. Even a small candle can guide someone through the dark. Don't underestimate what your honesty can inspire in others. Becoming yourself is a lifelong journey. It's not something you find once. It's something you keep becoming. Every season reveals a new version of you, stronger, wiser, more real. You'll meet people who won't understand your path, and that's fine. It wasn't built for them. You're not lost because you're walking alone. You're brave because you're walking in your own direction. The 5% who stand out aren't special. They're consistent. They stay true when it's easier to pretend. They keep working quietly while others talk loudly. They protect their focus like their future depends on it, because it does. You don't need to prove your worth. You already have it. You just need to remember it when the world makes you doubt. Real confidence starts when you stop asking for permission to exist. Protect your peace like you protect your dreams. Don't hand your happiness to people who don't know how to hold it. Some people only love you when you stay small. Grow anyway. Authenticity is your superpower. No one can compete with real. The moment you stop pretending, you stop competing. Because being yourself has no rival. Don't chase validation. Chase growth. The likes fade, the claps stop, but self-respect stays. The more you live by your values, the louder your light shines. Your time is too precious to spend proving yourself to people who will never understand. Let your actions speak, your peace protect, and your results remind. That's how quiet strength looks. If you ever feel pressure to fit in, remember, the world doesn't need another version of them. It needs the first and only version of you. That's why you're here. Every day you choose yourself, you grow your power. Every time you say no to what doesn't feel right, you say yes to your truth. That's how authenticity builds peace. Protecting your light also means taking care of your mind. Rest, reflect, refuse to let negativity live rent-free in your heart. You can't shine if you're always exhausted. When you stop trying to be liked by everyone, you start liking yourself. And that feeling, quiet, grounded, real, is worth more than all the applause in the world. Be better at being you. That's the only competition that matters. Not better than others, better than yesterday. Every time you choose your truth, you win a little more freedom. And one day, you'll realize that being yourself wasn't the hard path. It was the only one that ever made sense. Your light will guide others, not by trying to impress them, but by simply being real. That's how you protect your light, by living it. Life is short. The world needs the real you. You have one life. So today, choose your North Star. Follow it with courage. The world will thank you for being yourself. Keep shining your light and remember, every small step counts. Thank you for watching and learning with Easy English Official.